Welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hello, I'm Eric Stromer,
And-
or Eddie Arnold in the duo that you and I have. I'm that guy, and you're Zsa.
Or Ava Gabor.
Ava, was it Ava or
Ava
yeah,
Gabor.
Ava. Okay.
Zsa, yeah.
I love that.
Great show, and maybe you are feeling like you're living in Green Acres because you're hearing these noises, and we were just kind of going through the list of some of the things that might be unexplainable, but yet there's an answer. I mean, have you ever heard of people having bats in their home?
Listen, I have the experience of having
bats?
307 bats fly out of. We counted them. 307 bats
Out of
at
your
dusk in northern Wisconsin, where we went to a summer home that we went to for years,
Wow.
right? And it was a rental cottage, right? And we would go at dusk and watch these bats flying in out of the top of the house. And then at night, my brother and I'd be up in the top room there, and the ceiling was sloped, and it was all like that tongue and groove pine. So you'd see these little spots, the knot holes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you'd think it was a bat, so you'd sleep with the covers over your head, and I would wear a hat and scream, like, oh my God, the bats!
So
but
the hat
you would
saved you.
hear them sliding down the roof inside the ceiling, and the scratching and the squeaking, and it was just horrifying. And bats are really cool animals, but they're really scary to me. Just the thought of they're flying into your hair and, oh my God, the bat's in my hair.
Well, the thing is that bats can carry deadly rabies, which is not great, you know, and the hantavirus, right?
Yeah.
But, and they can also tear up your insulation and so forth.
And they do. And they can leave a whole mess of smells in there because they're
wild.
They're living and they're going to the restroom in your ceiling.
They're just hanging out. Yeah. Exactly. So I guess what you want to do is you might want to call the Batman. You can call Batman.
I'm Batman. So or you can either call the Batman, and Service Live obviously would have a ton of folks that do this.
They may not wear spandex.
No.
I can't guarantee that.
And that may be a disappointment to some and a relief to others.
Depending on the girth.
Depending on the Batman or gal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite Batman, by the way?
Michael Keaton was fun.
He's my favorite.
I thought he was fun.
I like Michael Keaton.
I don't know if it needs to be all serious and Batman is
Michael
like this
Keaton.
dark character.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Okay.
Am I crazy? I don't think so. All right. Anyway, the Batman. So if you want to deal with bats on your own, what you do is you wait till dusk, watch them all fly out, and then some brave soul puts a hat on and climbs up a ladder where they're leaving and exiting and entering.
And seal it up.
And you seal it up with steel wool. Or spray foam or whatever you can do. And then you stand there and you watch them try and fly back in and go, ha, 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 ha,
no.
Bats be gone.
And they're all hitting their noses.
And they're all really mad.
Oh,
and they
no.
fly around for a while and then they're gone.
Okay.
And they may find another way back in. And I suggest at that point the next day you go around with a flashlight under the eaves or any place where you would commonly associate it. And again, remember, we know rats or mice can get into something the size of a nickel. Same with bats. Any little hole that you see suspect, spray foam or steel wool or both. A little steel wool and then spray foam as well to give it the double duty. And I think
that's that Dow stuff, right? It makes
expandable foam.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff.
It's like a sponge in a bottle, right?
And they can get through it ultimately, but if you do both the steel wool and the foam,
it'll slow them down. It's like slowing down a prowler. They'll get frustrated.
It's like putting a foreclosure sign on someone's house. They'll get in it,
But they'll say, well, maybe I should go down to the neighbors.
Get through the window, But yeah, that helps.
But what if there is a peculiar noise, almost like a bubbling sound that seems to be coming from your water heater? Is that normal?
Well, yeah, it can be, and that's kind of a sign that maybe it's time to drain the water heater, flush out the tank.
That hot water.
And you want to be real careful.
How often do you do that?
Well, you can do it, once a year. I think is a good. If it's a newer heater, you're not going to need to do it for quite a while. But it's recommended that you do it at least once a year at first. And what's going on ultimately is sediment from the inside of the tank and from the water system is going to start settling, and then it's going to try to get sediment and water through these small openings, the pipes.
Which is going to totally be bad, right?
And it's like arteries in a guy that eats bacon every 5 minutes. They start to clog on you ultimately.
It's the double-double with cheese and grilled onions.
You're speaking. I just bought that for my kid last night. I can't do it. I'm done with the double-doubles.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Yeah.
But anyway, you want to definitely flush the tank out. Make sure that you're not putting yourself in harm's way with hot water as it comes out of the tank. Shut it down, let it cool, and then drain it. Start over again.
Okay, good.
Easy
good.
enough. Attach a hose, let the water drain out.
Yeah, it still sounds like something that maybe I would have a helper
Well,
help me with.
if you've never done it before, you may
Yeah.
want to hire someone first, watch them,
Yeah.
and then, even shoot a video of them or take pictures of them while they're doing it, and they'll think that you're kind of nuts, but really what you're
See, I'm
doing
going to put this on Facebook because
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm so proud of you for doing this.
and I love this whole process.
Yeah, but if you watch someone do it once, it's not rocket science. You'll get the hang of it.
All right.
Yeah.
What if, there's some other noises that we're hearing around the house. Let's say the furnace itself, we clean our filters.
Yeah.
But what if it sounds like it's trying too hard. It's almost making a thud noise.
Yeah, generally, again,
When
it comes to furnaces, you want to see, if it's 25 years old or older, you may need to replace it. It's just working too hard. It's trying to do what it's trying to do, and it's just not efficient anymore. It's obviously not going to be as energy efficient as some new furnace would be. So, you may want to, instead of trying to cobble it together over and over again, you may want to think about this is the time to replace it. And also, you want to check your gas and electric bills to see, are they going up? Because you may have a really inefficient system, and also inefficiency when it comes to insulation in your home and your windows. So if you continually have a gas bill that's going up or an electric bill that's going up, the culprit probably is that the furnace is working too hard and needs to be replaced.
And isn't it true that you can, if you're monitoring it, like there's certain parts that you could potentially have replaced that would behoove you and wouldn't be as much as getting a whole new furnace?
There's no question.
If you're on top of it.
And that's where you want to have a real good quality service provider who will honestly assess the situation.
Honestly.
Which again, and you and I wouldn't take on anyone in our world in terms of advertising that we didn't believe in. So I had someone come from Service Live check my heater and to this very thing. And this guy was in the business forever and ever and made a really great, accurate assessment that saved me a ton of money. I didn't have to replace the unit, which I thought I would, and he's going to keep it together for me. And it's just because he's been doing it forever. And those guys or gals when they show up. Truck's a little beat up, they're kind of disheveled, they don't have the brand new brochures. They got stuff that's kind of, torn and ratty, but they've been in the trenches, and I trust those guys, right? Because they work.
As opposed to like some of these other services, you get on the phone and, for instance, with our website, you get on and you say, hey, I need some help with this, and they try to sell you something.
Yeah.
And you go, no, I don't need to buy more things.
How about a box of cookies?
I don't want to buy more things.
You seem hungry.
I just want you to take care of what you're supposed to do.
I know. And that's, when someone says to me, you don't need anything new, I'm not even going to try. Like I had a tree trimmer come. The guy said, you don't have to do anything. And I was overwhelmed that he said that. And then I actually wanted to just give him money. I wanted to pay him for just coming.
For life.
Because he said I didn't need anything.
Perfect.
Those are the ones to trust.
How about if the thermostat just is... isn't keeping us comfortable.
Well, now that's something.
It's a furnace problem.
Yes, that's right. It's an issue that could maybe be the battery in your thermostat is low or weak or dead, and then it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So always start with that first. If you're not getting the heat and air mixture that you need, take that into consideration. Look at the battery, make sure that it's charged. If it isn't, replace it. It's kind of easy. You just pop the cover off. There's a battery inside most of these thermostats usually that'll give you, the charge that you need. So check there first. Again, if it's still not working for you and you're not getting the right mix, it could be that you need Freon put into the heating and the HVAC system. There needs to be a specific amount of pressure for the heat and air to kind of combine. Same with the cold air in the summertime. And you can tell when cold air is coming out of your heating system outside, you know that it's working. And then in the summer when hot air is coming out,
it's pushing out the bad stuff.
So it's the opposite. So if you're not getting that when you hold your hand over it, then something's wrong.
What about, and speaking of just having your furnace working properly, how often do you check the burner flame, up in the attic? And I didn't realize that if the flame is yellow, that could be poisonous carbon monoxide.
That's right, because it's not burning hot enough, and you're going to now get those emissions.
That's terrible.
It's deadly.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector.
Yes.
And make sure that has batteries. And the way you do that is you press the little button, and if it makes the alarm sound, then you're good. If it starts chirping, that means it's time to replace the battery. And you cannot ignore that, because more people have horrible accidents in winter months by using the inappropriate types of heating inside their home and also not checking the carbon monoxide levels.
Because instead that burner flame should be blue, right?
Should be blue, like a blue flame, baby. Yeah, definitely. So you want to make sure. That's a really good call.
Yeah, because, we're trying to stay warm through this cold part of the season, and, that is not good. Well,
and obviously, never to heat with an open fire with no ventilation. That's asking for trouble also.
And if there's a strange noise, I'm like a canary. I can always smell natural gas. But if your home has gas and there's a kind of hissing sound, that could be a gas leak,
That's
too,
exactly right.
Anyway, how to keep your plants warm when you don't necessarily have a warm climate. It's all about building or buying a greenhouse.
Love those
Very
things.
fun.
And affordable.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards, as we love to improve your home and improve your life.